Hello there, class. In this video, I'll be discussing about electric field calculation for continuous charge distribution. But before that, let me talk a little about these different kinds of uh, charge distribution models that we have. So at this point in time, we've been talking about point charges. So I hope you know what a point charge is, no? So a point charge, the radius is very much small compared to the point of evaluation. That is why it's just considered as discrete or yung kaya pang i-count, no? Hindi siya continuous. However, there are some charge distributions wherein, for example, an infinitely long charged wire, wherein uh, the wire can have countless number of, let's say, electrons here, the negative charge particles. So it is not practical to treat the countless, let's say 10 to the 20th extra electrons. It's not practical to consider each electron as discrete or separate or countable particle. In that case, it's more practical to consider this as a continuous charge distribution instead of discrete. Okay? So um, we will be studying electric field calculations of these particular charge distribution models. We have a rod, a charge rod. Then later, for two-dimensional, we have a plane sheet. This is in preparation for the discussion on capacitance, no? Because the simplest capacitor is composed of two charge plates. So, ayan. We'll be discussing electric field calculation for this charge sheet or plane. And then, so that's 2D. And then we can also have another 2D would be a charge disk. No? It's a flattened sphere, kumbaga. And then we also have a charge sphere. Okay, now, in electric field calculation for continuous charge distribution like rod, sheet, and sphere, we need um, we need algebra and of course calculus. No, pag continuous na, we will be using calculus. So in our calculation of electric field, these are the steps. And you can find the steps in any physics book, no? So depende na kung paano discuss ng author. But I'm using Randall Knight's strategies here. So these are the steps that we will be using for electric field calculation of uh, continuous charge distribution. So these are the steps. Hindi ko ayokong isa-isahin kasi masyadong marami, no? But please read this part of your textbook, no? Either kay Knight or kay Young and Friedman. So, meron dito, we will draw a picture, establish a coordinate, then pipili tayo ng point, etc., etc. So, I will leave this to you, no? Reading these steps. Yan, merong model, visualize, and then we solve. And then meron ditong part na the critical step in making the transition from algebraic sum to integral. And then assessment. Okay. So we will follow these steps. I'll stop sharing first. And then I'll share another white screen. Where is that? Ayan na naman si ma'am. I'm lost again. Wait, let me open. Dali lang. Okay, let me open the other one first there. Okay. And then let's try to share this. Yan, okay. So we have here, we'll apply the, medyo mahaba ito na derivation. So I hope you have enough baon of patience, no? Ayan, sige, isa-isahin natin. So we are hoping that at the end of our derivation, we will arrive at this answer. This is the electric field, the magnitude of the electric field of a rod of length L, capital L, okay, with total charge Q. And then R here is the distance between the point of evaluation, between point P and the center of this rod. Yan. So yan i-derive natin. Okay. We still, the same way sa calculation ng electric field of a point charge, we'll be using the definition of, we'll be using the following. So number one, we know that the magnitude of the electric field of a point charge, so gamitin pa rin natin to as if this is composed of point charges, several point charges. We have the magnitude of Q and the R squared for the point charge, no? And then we also will be using the superposition pa rin, as if it's a point charge, superposition of electric fields. Okay, let's do this. Step 1. We will model our rod as a simple shape. In this shape, it's a rod, so it's like a thin rectangle. Okay. We want to determine the electric field at P, and point P is along an axis that bisects or cuts through the length of the rod equally at the midpoint. Okay, so at a distance R. Ayan. So meaning, from this point to that point, distance R. So R is labeled as R. It's the perpendicular distance between point P and the rod. Okay. So, now that we have modeled the charge distribution as a simple shape, the second step is to divide it into small segments. And then we treat each small segment as if it's a point charge. Okay, so second step, we will divide this into smaller segments. So just divide that into smaller segments. Okay, this is still not infinitesimally small, ha? Kaya hindi muna D ang ilalagay natin. We will start treating it as if it's a discrete, it's composed of discrete particles. Okay. Once you've divided it into small segments, you can choose any two segments that are reflection of each other along the rod. So it's up to you. So say for example, I will choose this segment. Ayan. So this small segment here, if this, I'll call this small segment as the ith particle. Okay. Variable muna siya. The ith particle. It's as if it's a point charge. So the ith particle is at a certain distance from my reference here, itong axis natin dito na x. So it has a certain height along the y. I'll call it also as y sub I. Okay? So meaning the ith particle is at a vertical distance y sub I from our reference here. Now, with the chosen ith particle here, I know that if the whole rod has a positive Q total charge, okay, and then we use the symmetry principle such that we say that the charge distribution is uniform. So we say that it's uniform charge distribution. It's analogous to saying uniform density. So, pag sinabi mo uniform density, you learn in Physics 1 that there's no portion that is denser than the other. Meaning, kahit saang portion ka mag-slice, you get the same density. So, the same here. Instead of mass per volume, this will be charge per length. No? So, uniform charge distribution. Okay. Ayan. So when you say uniform charge distribution, we have this what we call linear charge density. Okay, charge density. And this is symbolized by Greek letter lambda. So linear charge density is just the charge per length. So that the SI unit is coulomb per meter. Okay, so take note of that. So if it's uniform charge distribution, then we say that the linear charge density is constant. So the lambda is the same whether the length of the rod is different or not, as long as the segment belongs to the same rod. Okay, that's what we mean by that. Now, so since this is the ith particle, then this the small height of this small segment, I will call it as a small interval of the y. Tama ba? Okay, so merong maliit na height sa y, yung ith particle, and that is delta y. So, since delta y is just a part of the whole segment, then delta y, which is the ith particle, also carries a small charge. It only has a certain amount of charge, delta q. And if we add all the delta q's, then that's total q. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. So the ith particle here carries a positive charge delta Q. After identifying your segment there, your model segment, then you have to sketch the electric field contribution of that small segment. So how do we do that? We show muna the imaginary line that connects your source charge. Your source charge this time is the ith particle. So you connect the line now. Okay, and we will call this distance as the r of the ith particle. So r sub I is not the same with r. Here, ha? Take note. Si r dito, siya yung base ng triangle. Yung height is y sub I, and then the tawag nito, the hypotenuse is r sub I. Then you still have your p here. Okay. So, what I mentioned earlier, pag nakabit mo na yung nagko-connect sa kanilang dalawa, then we will sketch the electric field of the ith particle at this point. This is a positive charge, so at this point, the electric field will be towards, away from the source, along this line. Okay, so let's just say this is now the electric field of the ith particle. Okay, now let's label some angles here. We call this angle now as theta of the ith particle, but of course, since the green and the red are a line, makes a straight line, then this will also be angle theta sub I. Okay? Ayan. Now, to use the principle of symmetry, we will also identify the reflection of this ith particle at the bottom part. Okay? So, we say that, let's say, ang reflection niya, let's just say somewhere here. So this segment now will also have this delta y, okay? And then if we connect these two also, and then using symmetry so that our work will be easier, if you're using symmetry, there will be, you use it in a way na you'll be, there are components that gets cancelled out. So if this is yi, this is also y sub I, but if this is below, no, it's going towards negative. Yan. So this is positive. This will also have a delta Q charge. Itong maliit na particle din dito, na ith particle din. However, the electric field of this reflection on top will be away, pero in the first quadrant. Same magnitude as the one below, kasi pareho naman sila ng value ng y sub I, pareho din sila ng r sub I. So everything else is the same except for the y component. So this is also equal to e sub I. However, if you look, this one is in the first quadrant, so it will have positive e ix, but it will have a negative e iy. The other one will also have positive e sub ix, but a negative e sub I y. So we say that by symmetry, okay, you really need to articulate it. Symmetry, we say that the summation of all of the e sub I x, e sub I y will be 0. And then the summation, therefore, the summation of all the e sub I x will be the summation of all of the E sub I. So, ito na ngayon yung electric field ng rod. Okay? Ayan. So, wala na tayong Y kasi nag-symmetry tayo. So, next, after that, so this is out of the equation. Ito, na-resolve na natin. So, we will focus on this 2EIX. But these two arrows of the E sub IX here only represent the X component of these two segments. There are several other segments that we need to sum up. Okay, so take note of that. So our next step now, we need to define, no? So naka-define na tayo ng mga coordinates natin. The next thing is, we have to establish an equation for our E sub I, or technically our E sub IX. Kasi pag once we have that, that's already equivalent to the total. So before we get the E sub IX, we need to define the E sub I first. Okay, so that's our next step. We need to establish, so let's write, establish an equation for E sub I. Okay, how do we do that? E sub I, and then later E sub X. So this is, let's call this step, anong pang step na ba ito? Anyway, sige, yan na lang. Okay, so how do we establish that? We will use the concept, of course, of vectors. So this is E sub I, it's the hypotenuse, right? So this is the electric field contribution of this ith particle here. Tama ba? So we just use the definition of electric field of a point charge at a certain distance r sub I. So our definition of electric field at any distance from a point charge is 4 pi epsilon sub naught Q over R squared. Ito yung definition natin. So we will follow that. So si E sub I, magnitude muna tayo ha. So ito, we want to establish an equation for E sub I, the magnitude of this vector. So we know that this is 1 over 4 pi epsilon sub naught. And then the charge, the source of this electric field is of course delta Q. So ang pang-replace kay small q, si delta Q. Kasi yun yung charge ng ith particle natin. So substituting, I'll write here delta Q. And then, the distance between the source and point P is defined here as R sub I. So I will put here R sub I squared. Okay? Now, let's further continue. We have to ensure that the coordinate variables will appear in our equation because they will become, one of them will become the integration variable later. So what do I mean by that? See, R sub I, we will write this in terms of Y sub I and R. Okay? So if you look at this right triangle at the top, we say that the hypotenuse R sub I, using Pythagorean theorem, you have Y sub I squared for the height plus the R squared. Oops, bakit may ganyan? R squared. Okay? So I will put this dito sa baba. So in other words, if I will square both sides, R sub I will just be Y sub I squared plus R squared. Okay, let's continue. So we substitute this for that, so this now becomes 1 over 4 pi epsilon sub naught delta Q over y sub I squared plus R squared. Yan. And then, we will replace delta Q. We will write this in terms of the variables also. Okay? So, we use the linear charge density. So, we know that linear charge density is Q per length such that if you only use a small amount of Q, then you need to use the short segment also. But you still use the same lambda because this is uniform charge distribution. So, by cross-multiplying, we say that delta Q, kasi we want something to substitute for delta Q, is just lambda times delta Y. But we don't want lambda in our equation. We want the length of the rod to come in. So we can further substitute here total charge per length for lambda. And then I still have, I have my delta Y. So this is now my delta Q. So I will replace this for this. So rewriting this, I have 4 pi epsilon sub naught, and then delta Q becomes Q over L, both are constant, and then, ayan, lumabas na yung variable natin na gusto, si delta Y. Over, you have Y sub I squared plus R squared. Okay, so this is now the magnitude of E sub I. This is the magnitude of this vector only. But we are interested of E sub Ix kasi yun ang i-add natin para yun na yung total field ng rod. So getting the X component, if you look at this triangle here, this would be your E sub I. You have your EIX and your EIY, and this is your theta I. So EIX, E sub IX will be equivalent to, the hypotenuse is E sub I, and then you have cosine of theta sub I. So ayan dapat ang gagamitin natin. The hypotenuse, E sub I, times the cosine of angle theta sub I. So, set this, ayan. We set this aside for a while because that's the magnitude of the hypotenuse of this one, ayan, the triangle. So, we have here, we want to establish now an equation for EIX. An equation for E sub I but X component only. Yan. So, sinabi natin kanina from our triangle, this is E sub I, EIX, this is theta sub I, so that EIX is the magnitude of the hypotenuse and the cosine of theta I. So, E sub IX, this is just one arrow to the right, no? Yung red horizontal arrow. So, we have EI cosine theta I, but si EI is ito. So, we'll put this here. This becomes 1 over 4 pi epsilon sub naught. We can put Q sub L here so that we have here delta Y over yi squared. I'm just copying the answer sa taas, ha. R squared. And then we have cosine of theta I. So that this will be equivalent to E1x, EIX. And then theta I, we rewrite theta I in terms of the coordinate variables. So we know from the illustration sa taas that the hypotenuse is r sub I. Ito yung ith particle natin, di ba? Tapos continuous pa yan. Ito yung rod na pinili natin. Oops. Something like that. Yan. And then ito yung nag-bisect. Kasi andito si point P. So this is the hypotenuse of this triangle is r sub I. And this one is theta I. From here to here, the base of the triangle is r. And then the height is y sub I. Tama ba? So in terms of Ri and R and Y, theta I can be what? Cosine theta I. So we say that cosine of theta I is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So this is adjacent is R, hypotenuse is R sub I. But we know that r sub I is y squared plus r squared raised to 1/2 kasi square root yan. So this expression, we will use it as a substitute for cosine theta sub I. So we go back here. This is q over L 4 pi epsilon sub naught. Ang haba na yung equation natin. Ang haba ng solution. Delta y yi squared plus r squared. Cosine theta, you have r, which is constant for all the segments, no? Si r. And then you have y sub I squared plus r squared raised to 1/2. Yan. And then simplify. These are rational expressions. The denominator here, pareho naman sila. So we keep this and then add their exponents. So we have q over L. Rearrange natin. Unahin natin sulat si R, delta y. And then sa baba, it's just copy R squared. And then adding the exponents, exponent 1 plus 1/2. This is 1 and 1/2 or 3/2. Okay? So this is now the equation for a single E sub ix. And we still have several segments there which has the same EIX. So we will sum them up. So if we sum up all the E sub ix, then we put out the constants here, Q over L. We are now adding na, no, the E sub ix of all the segments of the rod. And then si R, dito lang muna natin sa, pwede nating ilabas na din si R dito kasi constant naman siya. And then, we say that this is, so constant ito silang lahat. We put it out of the summation symbol. And then what's left here would be the delta y over y I squared plus r squared 3/2. Yan. And then the limit would be from 1, I1, hanggang kung how many n segments. So we have n as the number of segments. Yeah, that's your limit. Now, in this case, we still consider each segment as discrete. But what if the number of segments approach infinity, meaning mahirap na siyang i-count, then this is now the transition. Magta-transition na tayo. You learned this in Physics 1. If the discrete segments can no longer be counted easily because of the big number, then we go to calculus. So, transition from simple algebraic sum to integral. So, in this case, as n approaches, not if, as pala. Okay. So as the number of segment approaches infinity, there are changes also in our variables. The first change is this. The delta y, okay, will now become infinitesimally small. So delta becomes dy. Ayan. And then, what else ba changes here? The y sub I, if it's labeled as y sub I, it's discrete, it's countable. But when we go to calculus na, the y sub I will become a continuous integration variable, and then we just drop the subscript and call it as y. Okay? Now, the limits will also change. So the limits, it's the lower limit, which is I equals 1, will become, we start from the bottom of the rod, it's negative L over 2. And then the upper limit, which is equal to N, then this will become, ito na ngayon yung limits of integration mo, positive L over 2. What else changes pa? The R is constant. And of course, yun na yata. Okay, so what happens now? The sigma now will become integral sign. Lower limit is negative L over 2. Upper limit is positive L over 2. The constants, there are no changes in the constants. We still have Q over L, R, 4 pi epsilon sub naught. Malapit na ang class ko, my God. And then, so the integral now will become the EX. Ayan. Ito na yung summation X component ng lahat ng field natin. So, we put now, si delta Y will become dy. And this would still be Y, no subscript I anymore. The R remains the same kasi it's a constant. And then you have 3 halves. Okay. Now, we are ready to integrate. Ayan. Ayan. So, we are adding all the small segments here. So, in your calculus, we just look at the table of integrals. I cannot memorize this. So, checking the integrals, we have, if we have, let's say, dx over x squared plus a squared 3 halves. You can look at this at any integrating table of integrals. So if it's positive, then this will also be positive, ano yun? X over, if it's minus, it's minus. A squared square root of x squared plus a squared. So we will just follow this integral, no? Kasi pareho naman siya ng form. Kaya lang, instead of x, it's y here. Instead of a, it's r. It's a constant. So we say that the constant would still be q over L times r, 4 pi epsilon sub naught. And then the value of this will immediately be y over, you have r squared, square root of y squared plus r squared. Tama ba? Yeah, it's correct. Tama? Tama. Okay. And then integrated from, so lower limit is negative L over 2. Upper limit is L over 2. And then we just substitute y with L sub 2 minus negative L2. So that this becomes, wait, tanggal na si R dito, meron ka pang isang R sa baba. Okay? So, we have Q over L. over 4 pi epsilon sub naught. Si y will become, so constant yan, dito na lang, ito lang ang i-ano natin. So this becomes L over 2 over, labas ko na lang si R, ano? Sige na, sali na lang. R, sali pala. R square root of, I'm sorry. This is L over 2 squared plus R squared. So that takes care of the upper limit substitution minus negative L over 2, another R, square root of negative L over 2 squared, which is still the same, no, with the earlier one. Ayan. So, we now have, this becomes L2 plus L2, so this becomes L. Tama? So, QL for similar fraction man sila, di ba? 4 pi squared. Tapos yung nasa taas will just become L over R square root of L over 2 squared plus R squared. And then L is out of the equation. So we can now write this in a familiar form. We separate the constant, electrical constant, epsilon sub naught. And then you have your Q here over R square root of L over 2 squared plus R squared. Tama ba? Let's check if our answer is correct. Square root L over 2 plus R squared. Oops. Allah. Ano ba yan? Where's the answer? There you are. Let's copy this. Copy. Okay, I think we did it correctly. Oops, Kiri, whoops. Put that here. Ayan. So I think we got it correctly. So this is now the magnitude of the electric field of the rod. No? And then if we put the direction now, we know that this is the summation, di ba, of all the I of the X component na positive. So as a vector, we can just say that this is going towards positive I hat. Okay, so if we sketch again the rod, this is now our rod. We say that at a point that bisects it at certain distance r, the electric field is going in this direction. This is now the electric field of the rod at this line here. So if it were somewhere here, then you still do the same calculation, and it will give you the same answer here, but it goes negative I hat. Ayan. Negative. That's at this point here. Okay? So at same r distance, so dito, the electric field vector would still be like that. Somewhere here, as long as the r is constant. So these are the vectors now. Yan. Okay? Yan. If we move closer to the rod, it will be greater, of course. But as you move farther, it will be shorter here. Yan. If it's closer, then it will be very much longer. Yan. So this is now, but these are the electric field vectors, and they are always tangential to the field lines. So we say therefore that there is a horizontal field line here. Because itong mga electric field vector, they are always tangential to the tawag dito, tangential to the field line. Okay? Now, let's check the limits of our answers. What if we solve the electric field at far distance where R is much greater than the length of the rod? So in that case, meaning if this were your rod, let's say the R is somewhere here. So from here going there, that is your R. And this is very much larger compared to the length of your rod. So in that case, this equation here, si L over 2 essentially will become very small compared to R squared. So mawawala siya. And then the equation now becomes R times R. So the electric field now becomes 1 over 4 pi epsilon sub naught. And then you have your Q, tapos R squared. So it's as if, it means that if the point of evaluation is very far from the rod, it's as if at that point, the rod behaves like a point charge because this is the electric field of a point charge. So it makes sense, di ba? Pag masyado nang malayo ang something, kahit gaano kataas pa yan, let's say, andito yung Mount Everest, tapos ikaw andun sa let's say, sa labas na ng, nasa outer space ka na, edi yung paningin mo sa Mount Everest, parang dot na lang. It's something like that. Okay? And then finally, I'm almost done, guys. Ano ba yun? So if we have an infinitely long wire, but realistically, wala namang infinitely long, di ba? Infinitely long wire, charged wire. Charged wire. So ito naman, the L is very much greater than the R, kumbaga. So if we solve that, I'll go directly to this value. So for infinitely long wire, the electric field now of the line charge ng tawag dito, will become 1 over 4 pi epsilon sub naught. And then you have your 2, tapos magnitude ni Q over R times L, or pwede ring 1 over 4 pi epsilon sub naught. 2, and then Q over L is lambda over R. And then the lambda has to be in absolute value. So for an infinitely long line of charge, we say that the electric field is directly proportional, inversely proportional to R. Whereas if you compare it to a point charge, the electric field is having an inverse square relationship with R. So kung i-compare natin yung rod versus a point charge, let's say if this is R, tapos ito naging 2R, ang electric field dito will just be 1/2 the original field. Kung dito merong electric field na ganyan. Pero pag point charge, if this is distance R and this is distance 2R, the electric field here is just 1/4 na lang the original. Kaya the field strength of a line charge decreases more slowly compared to the field strength decrease of a point charge. Okay? So in reality, there's no such thing as infinitely long, but there is a finite length of charge. Finite length siya. So for finite length of charge, okay, this equation would still be a good approximation. Tama ba? We will still use that. So meaning to say, if you have a finite length of charge, ito siya, yan. So we'd say that if you look at the equation here, it's 2 lambda r. Ito. And then this is always, the direction of the electric field is always perpendicular to the rod. So for example, at this point here, si R, itong point na ito, it's always along the horizontal axis. So that's an electric field. But if you go farther, mas maliit na siya. As you go closer, mas maliit. And then same thing doon sa kabila. Ayan. Okay? And then this continues. Uniform yan, kaya equidistant siya. Same length, and then same distance with one another. Ayan. Okay? So we will learn more of this later. I think this is quite long already. You can always review the steps, no? And then I'll try to make another video on how to calculate the electric field of a disk ba yun, or a sheet of charge. Okay? Until then, okay? Bye-bye.